So I'm giving out my mid-season awards here for Coach of the Year, and my three candidates are Bill Belichick, John Harbaugh, and Sean Payton. There's definitely a couple other guys that you could mention. Kyle Shanahan's definitely someone who's done a tremendous job with the 49ers, and also I think John Gruden should get his name in the ring there, just because even though his team isn't the most talented, just the fact that they're 4-4 definitely is impressive. But I mean, I know it's the easy answer, but for me, Bill Belichick has been the coach of the year, and it's not just because he's Bill Belichick. I think what he's done with this defense is truly remarkable. They had a historic first 8 games. I know the ninth game just didn't work out too well, but that was largely just because the Baltimore Ravens are such a tough team to stop. They're one of the most, if not the most, unstoppable team in the NFL. One, they're playing at a high level, and they were absolutely playing at a high level against New England. So I'm not holding too much of that against Bill Belichick, and I do think that what he did in the first 8 games it was just so interesting, so fun to watch, and so that's why I'm giving Bill Belichick the 2019 First Half Coach of the Year award. And also keep in mind, if you are a John Harbaugh guy or a Sean Payton guy, or you think somebody else deserves the award, we're only halfway through the season, so a lot has time to change, but through the first half, I think I would give it to Belichick. One play right off the bat that just screams good coaching is this one, where what Cleveland is going to do is they're going to have their halfback run in that direction and sort of fake as though it could be a handoff to Chubb to the left side of the screen, but then Baker's going to pitch it up to Landry right there, who will run to the right side of the screen. It's a little misdirect to try to fool the opposing defense, try to fool the Patriots, and so against worse defenses, or really against less prepared defenses, this can absolutely work. But the thing about the Patriots is it's very rare that they will not be prepared. Watch what happens right when this ball is snapped. Mostly what's going on right there. You see that there's a guy right there, and I mean, literally, that's his name. It's Lawrence Guy. Lawrence Guy is right there. Sorry, I know it's a bad joke, but I had to make it. You see Lawrence Guy right there, and there's just no way Baker can make this throw to Jarvis Landry. That's just film study and understanding what this play is. I mean, if this was just a typical situation where the Browns had never ran this play before, and you did think it was going to be a run to the left side of the screen, you wouldn't be running towards the middle like that. You'd be getting further over to the left side of the screen. But Guy knows that, for one thing, he has another Patriot behind him and further to the left side of the screen, so if it is actually running that direction, then they still have a guy who can make the tackle. But now he can take away the potential pitch to Landry on this one. Now, for some reason, Baker still tries to throw it to Landry and it ends up just getting intercepted. That part's luck. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that, that didn't have a luck element to it. Of course it did, but at the same time, you kind of make your own luck on some of these plays, and that was an example of New England making their own luck. It was an example of them understanding what the play was, being in the right position, and then when your opponent makes a mistake, capitalizing on it. Like, I think there's a reason why there's that narrative that the Patriots always seem to get the breaks to go their way, and I think it's because, well, I think they do, but not just because of luck. They're not more lucky than every other team, they're just more prepared to take advantage of the lucky situations that happen in a football game. Every team has fortunate things happen to them, but the reason why the best teams seemingly always get the things that break their way is because they capitalize on the things that break their way. And it just seems like every New England player always just does their job the way you're supposed to do your job. Like on this play, it's going to be a cover one blitz, and really what I want to take a look at is that guy right there. Because this is a cover one blitz, it means that everybody has a man you're in charge of guarding, and for him, it's going to be the halfback. He has to make sure that if the halfback runs a route, he's covering the halfback. So he can't just rush the passer, because if he does that and Baker Mayfield sees that he has a halfback open, he can just flip it out to the halfback who could potentially run for a ton of yards. So he has to be aware, and so he can't really rush the passer on this one, but at the same time, if he can try to help fool somebody, that's what he wants to do. Because on a cover one blitz, it means that there's going to be a 5-man rush and 5 offensive linemen. But watch what he does here. He's going to fake as though he's rushing the passer, but then drop back into coverage. So this now fools an offensive lineman. As you see, there's an offensive lineman right there going out to try to make this block, but then he realizes, oh, that's not a situation where I have to make a block. It basically gives you 5 men rushing the passer, as you already had, but now only 4 people going out to try to make a block, which is obviously a great situation for New England. Again, that's not something that no team does. Plenty of teams do that from time to time, but it seems like nobody does it as well as the Patriots. It seems like so frequently they can pull those types of things off. And like this one's another one, where it's going to be a cover 0 right here, and so typically you're thinking cover 0, that can oftentimes mean that you can just send someone quickly over the middle to try to make a short throw right there. That's a great situation against the cover 0, is when someone has a short route over the middle, you make that throw, and then that can easily gain you some yards. But for New England, once again, they're not going to just straight up do that. They're actually going to have 3 players drop back into coverage just like that to take away the middle of the field. So instead of this appearing to be a potential 6-man rush, it's actually going to just be a 4-man rush with the 3 guys chopping back into coverage and then nobody in charge of covering the halfback on this one. Basically, it would just be whichever direction the halfback goes, then the Patriot in the area would follow to the halfback to make sure that he's getting covered up. So that's the way this play works, and watch how the pressure gets to Darnold so quickly on this one. Because of all of that fake, someone actually gets completely free and goes straight to Darnold. I mean, you can't really blame Darnold for that one too much because, the pressure came so quickly, but at the same time, it was still 7 men back in coverage. So that's just such a tough situation for Darnold and for an offense. It's great execution and great play calling. It's that combination. I mean, it seems like no players execute their plays better than when they're playing for the Patriots. I think there's a reason why there's a long list of guys who played great for the Patriots, got a big contract somewhere else, and then didn't play great somewhere else. And it's because under New England, just everyone plays as a team so well. The whole do your job, well, they all do their job and they do it very well. Part of it you do have to give credit to the players, but a big part of it you have to give credit to Coach Belichick. I mean, the way that he calls up these plays, it's really remarkable. I mean, it really kind of is. It's like a well-trained army that knows how to do every single thing in every single situation. It's got to be the most frustrating defense to go up against. It really does. Again, I know the Ravens just beat them pretty handedly, but to me, that's such an obscure team. I think literally the Patriots defense could play great against 30 of the 31 other teams in the NFL. I just think the Ravens are kind of a nightmare matchup for them. And I also thought that, that game was competitive. It was, it ended up as a 2-score game, but there's a portion of that game where it was just 1 score. I mean, it really was. And I also think 1 bad game doesn't discount 8 great games, and there was 8 great games. And another play like this has just got to be so frustrating if you're a player that plays for the Jets, going up against a play like this where, once again, cover 0. So for Darnold, get the ball out quickly. That's what you have to do here. And that can actually work out okay for the Jets because they have routes right there, which, the route that's going to be an out route to the top half of the screen could absolutely end up getting open. So that is where Darnold is going to look to throw this ball to, and he's going to have to throw it very quickly. And if you notice, there definitely is a small window where he can try to make this throw. I mean, it's not bad coverage, but, it's a quick throw. He is under pressure, so he has to get this ball off quickly. But if he makes this throw now, definitely his receiver could potentially make the catch and try to gain some yards. It's a 2nd down and 8 situation, so even if you don't get the first down, if you can gain 4 or 5 yards, it makes for a much easier 3rd down situation. But the problem is, look at what's going on right there. You have another Patriots defender keeping his eyes upfield and just paying attention. Even though he's playing man coverage, he's still paying attention to where Darnold is going to throw because he knows Darnold is going to probably have to make this throw very quickly since he knows it's a cover 0. So he's paying attention in that direction. Darnold ends up throwing it and he kind of misses the throw a little bit and it gets intercepted, but that interception doesn't happen with most teams. I mean, that's just a great play call and perfectly executed, and it resulted in an interception. So that's what this Patriots defense does, and it is a large part due to coaching. I mean, I look at some of the talent that they have compared to some of the talent that other teams have, and they're a very talented team, don't get me wrong. And while I am mostly talking about defense because that's, Belichick's a defensive mind, obviously the offensive coaching staff does a great job, and Bill Belichick deserves some credit for that, although I think Josh McDaniels also deserves a ton of credit, but this isn't assistant coach of the year, it's coach of the year, so that's why I'm focusing on defense. But, I think you could argue that the Bears defense, when healthy, is a more talented defense than the Patriots. I think you could argue that the 49ers defense has more talent than the Patriots. I actually would argue that. I think the 49ers defense definitely has just more talent than this team does. But what this team doesn't have in talent, it makes up for in coaching. And it still is like top 5 talented defense, but when you have a top 5 talented defense paired with the best defensive mind ever, it turns into a legitimate defense. Like one more play about Sam Darnold was this one, where it's, again, kind of a similar situation. This is actually a 4th down and 4 situation, and that's the play call for New England. This is a buzz concept, where you have no safeties deep, but you are going to have 2 New England players playing zone, basically just in the middle of the field. So this is the concept designed to take away anything in the middle of the field, which is a great idea because teams don't run this that often, so it is going to fool Darnold a little bit. I mean, if you look right when this ball is snapped, he does have a receiver over there that's maybe open, but there also are two New England players in the middle of the field that could potentially knock this ball away. So this is the route that Darnold wants to make this throw to. This is the play concept that they designed. This is the idea that they had was, let's try to get it to that receiver right there, but it's going to be a tough throw, and he isn't quite able to make it. He throws it just a bit too high, but the reason why he had to throw it higher than he would have liked was because he had to get it over those Patriots who were in the middle of the field, which wouldn't have happened if they just went with a traditional cover one hole, for example, or, a cover one blitz, or just some type of zone coverage. Instead, they just had the absolute perfect play call for that situation, and it paid off in a big way. They were able to get the stop on fourth down, and that's kind of what the Patriots do, Everything is well executed. Everything is seemingly the perfect play call. It's like Belichick knows what is coming on every play, and that's what makes him the greatest of all time, and that's also what makes him the greatest through the first half of 2019. I have a feeling people are probably going to disagree. I think the two biggest things I'm going to get in the comments section are people saying that, well, he got beat by the Ravens pretty badly, but I still think that as a whole, he's been the best coach despite that. And I think the second thing most people are going to say is that this is the easy answer, of course, giving it to Belichick. But in my opinion, I don't think we should take away what they've done in the past. I think you should still get a Coach of the Year award, even if you have won a Coach of the Year award in the past or have been successful in the past. I don't think that you should automatically win it just because you're Bill Belichick. I mean, I think Pete Carroll is a tremendous head coach. I haven't put him in the top 3 just because I don't think that this year he's earned it. I do feel like this year, through the first half, Belichick has earned it. But then again, it's just a meaningless thing that I'm making a video on. So take with it what you will, but that's why I have Bill Belichick as the best coach through the first half of the 2019 season. I'd like to know what you guys think, and as always, thanks for watching.